Hey everyone, it's Joy Taylor and I'm here today with Julie Hutchinson of Austin, Texas. Woo-hoo! Another proud promoter of Purium, a successful one at that. And Julie has a background in sales training. So you are a businesswoman who's also a health enthusiast, Julie. I'm so glad you're here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're doing really well with Purium, and you shared with me that a lot of that has to do with really focusing on the planning and strategy. Enlighten us.
Very much. Yeah, so for me, first of all, I have such a belief in the products. I use them every day, multiple times a day. So my why is very big. And when I found a company that has such an amazing mission, what I did is I thought, well, I can apply all the sales training that I have implemented myself and the sales training that I give people in corporate America to this business and make it easy and fun. And so what I'd like to share with you is some golden nuggets from the sales trainings that I do in the business world. And it's really a blend. It's a blend of 3 different things. And the blend is to have a very strategic business plan. Number 2 is to have very strong intentions and know how to set your intentions. And number 3 is aligning your beliefs with your internal dialogue, what you're saying to yourself, and staying on track the entire time. So if you have those 3 things well defined and outlined and strategized, you just set the plan and work your plan.
I love it. Plan your work, then work your plan. So let's look at the Purium. I love the business planning worksheet that we have at Purium that we use. And, you know, if you want to share a little bit about how you started here and where you took it from here.
Sure. I love the way that this is laid out because it starts off with, I am building my business for this reason. This is your why you're doing it. And everybody has a variety of reasons. And as you can see on this sheet, there's a couple of them listed. Your why may not be on there. It may be something other than what is listed on there, or it may be a combination of things. When you really connect to your why, that's the fuel, that's the power that's going to drive your business and drive the reason you talk about this to other people. And then when you outline your most important goal, I love that one too, because that's the emotion that's behind it. That's the energy that's really going to propel you moving forward. And then of course, you know, when we're doing something like this, there's income goals that we have because we would like to make a living at this and help other people. So when you look at what your income goals are, and here's the key, you know, I work with so many people that'll say, I'd like to make $20,000 in the next 3 months. And sure, we would love to make that kind of money in the next 3 months. And it's just more of a pipe dream. What happens is there's not a detailed action plan behind that of how that's going to happen. So we can put lofty numbers up there, but they won't actually take place. These numbers won't happen to come in unless you have a very detailed strategic plan of what that looks like. So the way that this sheet is laid out, it's got your income goals related to the rank. And then here's the key. I'm committed to the following income producing activities this month.
Hey, Julie, so example, I just want to say this is the key. Thank you. This is such the key. I'm committed. Yeah, thank you.
And keep in mind too, this worksheet is great and you can add to this. You can get more detail than what's on this sheet. So I'm committed to how many hours a week doing the business. What am I going to do in those hours? And how many follow-up calls am I going to make a day? For example, you know, what I did is I said, I'm committed to doing 10 healthy happy hours by the end of the year. And I did my plan 2.5 months ago. So 10 healthy happy hours by the end of the year. I'm going to talk to 3 yoga studio owners and do presentation in each one of those. So you start to get very granular and detailed. And then, you know, every couple of weeks you go back in and you look at, here's my plan. And you look at where am I in relationship to my plan? Have I met what I said I was going to do? And if you haven't, you've got to make up what you haven't done. So if I haven't done 10 healthy happy hours, here we are and coming up at the beginning of December. If I've got 6 more to go, I better get on it and get those done by the end of the year. So make a commitment and commit it to yourself. That's the key. You're making a commitment to yourself.
You know, Julie, you said something I think is really important is you keep reviewing this plan and you're accountable to you. So you're getting really detailed, and I do know you had a very detailed strategic plan. You thought it through so that your goals were in alignment with the action steps, and you connected with your upline, and you really mostly stayed very true to your word, to yourself.
That's yeah, that definitely is a key.
Specific strategies, the healthy happy hours, exposures, phone calls, enrollments. You learned as you went. I know all of this. So you mentioned something at the beginning about taking the business plan and the strategy, having strong intention, and then aligning your beliefs. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so this is what I call the secret sauce. And
Oh,
when I work with people, I talk about what we just talked about is the business plan, right? It's what most businesses and salespeople do. You got to have it. You got to have a plan. Now, what we're going to talk about is the secret sauce, and that's the intention, the beliefs, and the inner dialogue. So I'll give you an example. So I had last month at the end of November, I was committed to reaching a certain rank. And we had one day that fell on a Monday. It was the last day of the month. And I was stretching it to reach the rank that I was choosing. And what happened is I entered some fear. And I thought, oh no, I'm not going to make it. And I listened to my inner dialogue and I said, stop. I will reach the rank that I committed to reaching this month. And I had one appointment at a yoga studio with an owner of the yoga studio who had committed to a platinum pack. And I thought, somehow I'm going to get another platinum pack, or I'm going to make up that other piece on this day. And I'm going to have faith, and I trust in myself. I trust in my commitments. And anytime I wavered from that, from my intention or that inner dialogue, I would catch myself and say, no, I reached this rank by this date. I have faith that this is going to happen. And I stayed on track, and I just had the faith, and I walked the faith, and I walked in the feeling of it. And that's the key, walk in the feeling of your achievement. Well, I walked into that yoga studio, and the owner happened to have two friends that were sitting right there. And the owner said, I'm so glad you're here, Julie. You can tell my friends about Purium. They may be interested. And I got this big smile on my face, and I said, I'd love to share with them. And I came in with all my samples, and I had my transformation guide, and I had the before and after pictures. And right there at the front desk of the yoga studio, I'm sharing it. And all three of them signed up that day. And I was able to reach my rank. And I do believe in that, the power of setting those strong intentions. And, had I shown up an hour earlier or an hour later, those two people would not have been there. And so I had a window of when I was going to be at that yoga studio, and I just happened to show up at the right time. And so I'm a huge believer in, you really got to watch your internal dialogue. And we've all gone through this in this business. We'll hit those highs and those lows and those peaks and valleys. And I'm telling you, when you're in those valleys, watch your internal dialogue, stay committed, go back to your strategic plan, commit to that, realign to your beliefs and your intentions with your inner dialogue. And I promise you, some really amazing things will happen that may just surprise you. So stay true to that.
I love it. Julie, you're an inspiration. Thank you. Thank you for walking us through the business planning worksheet, sharing some examples, and reminding us how important it is, even when the buzz is gone, right? The enthusiasm might wane. We can talk ourselves back into, we can revisit the intention and align our beliefs.
Yeah, and then also one last thing is to reconnect to your why. So my why is seeing people thrive and having really great health through these products. And when I hear a testimonial of somebody that says, I lost 20 pounds and I'm off XYZ medications, I feel great and I'm sleeping wonderful. I mean, that is the why. This is why we do it.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you. Well, I do it for you and everyone because I just love also supporting people in finding new income streams. We help people get healthy, and we assist people in having more financial well-being as well. Julie, you're awesome. Thank you.
How are you, Joy? Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Be well.
Bye.